The thing with me is that I'm not worried about starting over from scratch. Starting a walk in a religion that I thought hated me for who I was. Or how moving across country to a place that I've only visited like once or twice in my whole life. Where I knew nobody, I knew nothing, barely had a plan. But hell, if it meant my happiness, if it meant my success, and my well-being and my relationship, you bet I was gonna do it. Never been afraid of taking risks. Starting over or being the black sheep, I don't care. I will start over as many times as need be to get it right. Because each path I take, even if it's not the successful one, it's a stepping stone. It got me an inch closer to where I needed to be. So they're not really failures. It's not a letdown. It's not proof that I can't do it again. Or at all for that matter. All it is when you see failure is that that is just not the correct way to do it. Try it a different way. Today we're going to be talking about inner and outer transformations. To go a little bit deeper, we're going to talk a little bit about my story, my background, where I started from, when I knew there needed to be a shift, and how I did the shift, how I accomplished basically each and every single one of my goals. So basically, my story goes all the way back to living in Wisconsin. I was born and raised in Wisconsin, a small, quiet, conservative town, one of those towns where everybody knows everybody. You can't even have your own secrets without the whole town knowing. You can't go anywhere without being recognized who your parents are, who you're related to, who they're related to. It's a small town, so it's hard to be any type of mysteriousness, which is what I desire. In that kind of town, there's no growth, there's no future, there's no success, there's no happiness from what I've witnessed in any relationship, in any family. It's a rare concept to see there. Successful marriages and families at any age, I don't care. Living a successful, abundant life, yeah, never. That's not a thing. In fact, if you don't hustle your life away and work a 9 to 5, you're weird. You're weird. Who do you think you are? Yeah, that was my home. That's where I was born and raised and taught everything for all of my 21 years of life. But I will give them credit, because if it wasn't for that mentality, I wouldn't have had the balls to be like, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. That may be for you, but that's not for me. Which basically is what it was. That's plain and simple. My entire life, all I watched was my own parents, every other of my relatives or my friends' parents, whoever. I watched their marriages and families fall apart. I saw families and kids and siblings being torn apart because of their parents' bad decisions. I saw the kids in my family or other people's families, whoever. It literally was everybody and anybody in that dang town that lived there. Or then the next 5 towns over was still that way. We're real young, and I'll even take ownership. This was me as well as a kid. Real young, you're dressing real skimpy. If you're a boy, and this goes for boys and girls, you think dressing skimpy or acting like a little loose around town is the cool thing. Parents around here, the normal way of parenting is abuse in its own form. And we all know that, especially parents of color. I don't care if it's moms or dads, whether you're a Latino or a Moreno, it doesn't matter. We all see it. The shoes, the pants, the pots, the chanclas, whatever you can get your hand on and you use to punish your child, that is plain and simple abuse. I don't care what you have to say. You just think, oh, well, that's just me parenting, because they're not going to do it again after this. Okay, but guess what? Now they're going to learn that and think that that is okay. And it's just simply not. There's no way of justifying it. On average, in a kid in my town, their life really honestly goes to trash and downhill late middle school. That's about 14, 13 years old. And it's very sad, but that is how it's going. It literally just gets worse with time. It just gets worse. The age goes lower and lower. My quick story on that is that I could tell since birth, basically, I wanted to do big things. Literally, I remember being so young, like I think at this point I could barely form memories, but I was telling my grandma, who in fact I got my divaness from, that I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to own my own fashion empire. Of course, little me, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I knew what I loved. I loved sneaking into my mom's closet and trying on and walking around the house in her big old heels, rummaging through her makeup, putting as much on as I could, putting on my princess gowns and costumes. I would have my dad let me do his makeup and do mine together. I would sit down my entire family in the living room couches, and I would walk out with my makeup done, my mom's heels on, or my princess, little heels, my kitten heels, my princess dress on, and I would model for them. I would just do a whole fashion show. There's something to me about the glamour, the beauty, the sparkle, it lit me up inside. I'll be perfectly honest, the older I got, the more confused I was on what I wanted to do. Honestly, it's because I was going through so many different identity crises. Long story short, I did end up figuring out and healing enough to see that I wanted better and I wanted more than what was given to me there. Like any typical teenager kid that had lived in a really rough life, abuse, neglect, mentally, emotionally, physically, being the oldest sibling and left with that, that kind of responsibility over the rest of them. Like, you know what I mean if you're also the oldest. Having so much trauma and stuff done to you as a child, you do end up rebelling like I did. Later on in my teens, reverting to sex, drugs, alcohol, all the bad stuff. I done did it all. I'm not proud to own it usually, but I pray and I thank that version of myself every day for doing what she did. Because if it wasn't for her sacrifices and her life lessons, I wouldn't be where I am today. I admit that maybe what I did in the past didn't make me feel great as a woman today, but I would never take it back, because without that version of me, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be the woman standing here, have everything done that I did accomplish on my own without her help and her sacrifices, as you should be doing to yourself in the past and in the present. Thank yourself for everything you're sacrificing right now so the future you can do even better. After just a couple more of you doing all that bad stuff, I felt like my life was going to be cut short soon if I didn't stop. I don't really know what came over me, but I did stop. Not to say that it was easy, because it wasn't. Giving up everything that I was already used to and doing for years, it wasn't easy, but I did. Something really just kind of threw a rope over me and held me back, because it was hard and I was fighting it the whole time, but I still did it. That's to say, if you have an addiction to, whether you have a sex addiction, a drug addiction, you're an alcoholic, you know that you're the cause of a toxic relationship, you can stop. There's no excuses. Even if you're just stuck in that cycle and you want out but you don't know how. First of all, we're gonna cut it quick and just say that there is a way out. You can stop. And you just need to have the will to stop. Like I did. It wasn't easy, but I did it. I couldn't be more grateful for that version of me for cutting that loose too. After a little bit longer, the boy that I had been crushing on for 5-6 years, something like that, I had been manifesting this man to be a part of my life for the longest time, and me being the little hoochie that I was back then, it wasn't gonna fly with him. Eventually in my life, seeing that I wanted more for myself than what I was actually doing, I put a stop to all of that, and I focused on me. I did the healing. I did the work, and it was hard. It was brutal. It was nasty. It was uncomfortable, but I did it. And in the process, I attracted him in my life. He came running to me so quickly. I had him wrapped around my fingers to this day for 4 years now. And he isn't going anywhere. What I had noticed, maybe like within a year later or 2 years later, it wasn't, coincidence that he just came to me at that point. I finally took time for myself, to work on myself and to heal and put myself first. That is when I got his attention, because I was no longer chasing him. I was chasing me. I was chasing my own heart. Once he saw the amount of love and confidence I put into myself, ooh, he couldn't get enough. So fast forward a little bit. Now we're still living that typical life in our small town, but together. The life did get better because I had him now, but it was still the same sucky life at home. I decided to go through a second healing and isolation phase, basically. I already had a very toxic family, so I basically cut off my whole family. I still love them and I wish the best for them every single day. I even went on no contact with my mom for a good 2 years straight now. But just because they're your family or your best friends for life doesn't mean you owe them anything. Blood doesn't mean you owe them. Lifetime of friendship doesn't mean you owe them. I'm not saying be a jerk to them. I'm saying don't sacrifice your own happiness for someone that's going to throw it down the trash. Although I love my family and I pray the best for them as much as I can, I hope that they also find the healing and happiness that they need. I am not afraid of letting them go, so I can make sure that I can keep going. I need to take the weight off of my shoulders so I can keep pushing through. In the midst, I found out that I still was meant for something even more, something better. Started chasing after even more and more and more, and I figured it out. I figured out a way to beat the system. Guess what that code is? I found Jesus. I found God. He has been chasing after me this whole time, but I never let him actually have me. One of the experiences that I went through that traumatized me for a very long time, when I was a teenager, I went to an all-girls Christian boarding school. And all they did there was tell me that God hates me. He doesn't love me. And I knew that they were wrong. I knew that my God, he is not like that. He loves everybody. I feel like I full-heartedly knew that, but I didn't really know anything. I didn't really know any better. I kind of, just took their word for it. It was like automatically, all right, you're right. I guess he doesn't love me. But if he doesn't love me, I don't want to have anything to do with that. But long story short, I did find God. And the second I found God, he opened the door for me immediately to so many new opportunities that I've been dreaming of. For example, I've been wanting to move states for the longest time. Me and my partner, we agreed. We wanted to get out of Wisconsin together. We didn't know where, we didn't know how, but we just knew we had to leave Wisconsin. And we found ourselves, at the end of the day, long story short, okay, we'll keep fast forwarding. We moved across country. We packed our whole apartment together, put it in our truck, and we moved across country and did a big old long permanent road trip. Yeah, and as crazy as that sounds, we literally just did it just like that. We made the decision, we planned on it as hard as we possibly could. So much did not go according to plan, but we tried. We packed up all our stuff, we hit the road. A good day, maybe a day and a half later, we ended up all the way across country because I have a little bit of family there. We wind up where I am right now, somewhere where I never thought I would be. I am so insanely proud of myself. I am proud of him, and I thank God that he got me this far. And since choosing God to be the controller of my life, to agree of the fact that he did all this, he did this, not me. I don't want this credit. I want to be a woman of God, where I can just sit in my femininity and be with my husband and God. I don't want to put in that much work to the point where I feel like I'm slaving away. No, God steered me. I did do the work. I did do the work and got here, but God steered me in the right direction. So all I had to do was just keep going, keep pushing, keep having faith. Just don't stop. And he kept me going in the right path as soon as I chose him. Let's fast forward a little bit more. The day after I arrived to our new home across country, I turned 21. Yes, I turned 21 years old. Happy birthday to me. But then I think like a half a month later, I finally launched and started and finished the whole thing, online digital course business to help women heal and grow and expand themselves within every single area and aspect of their entire life with my own story, with my own knowledge and experience. Considering where I started to where I am now, those results are promising and guaranteed as long as you put in the work. So I created a course with God's help. I even prayed and I talked to him throughout the entire thing like, God, I need you to take control of my body. I am just typing. I want your words to be in here. This may have been my story, but you created this story. So I need you to help me figure out, like, this business I need to be in your hands. This is your business. This is our business. I did not want to do it without him. And within his help, I created and launched Veda Leanne Rising courses. I have 4 different levels. I have a free level because I personally believe that every woman, no matter where you are, and this is technically for men and women, but I'm constantly speaking to a woman because woman to woman, I get it. Something that about a man that I will never understand. So in my courses, I'm mainly speaking to women, but it is open to men and women. But I truly believe, and I felt God, he's the one that really decided this, that every woman around the world deserves to feel love, respect, confidence, and the healing that they need. So I took a good chunk and I put it in a free course for everybody. I have no benefit out of that other than seeing the fact that other women are finally living in their fullest potential. Then I created a more moderate course. I think I created just 3 actually, now that I think about it. Just 3 levels. I created a moderate version. I think I named this one Preview, but I don't remember. This has a lot more information, a lot more detail, but there is an investment to it. but it is extremely worth what is in there. Then I made a premium gold version. In that, I am talking to you. I am reading out everything to you and more that you can't see. And I am explaining to you in such deep detail so that you can truly understand what you need to understand, what you need to learn, what you need to accept, how you need to do it, what to do, and how to go through it and how to conquer it, etc. And I could not have done that without God's help. So God bless. That is a perfect example of something that He has done in my life that transformed me. Next, you guys won't believe this one. Next, I have been having it heavy on my heart for quite a while now of the idea or feeling of baptism. I've already been baptized as a baby, but I believe that every baby should be baptized under God. But I also believe that you should be re-baptized as an adult, making the conscious decision to choose God as your Lord and Savior. And being a newly woman of God, a God-fearing woman, someone that just started their journey with God and is fully given their life to Him, I've been having it so heavy on my heart that I need to get baptized again. Me and my partner are talking about it constantly, whether or not this is something that we or I want to do. Kind of decided like, I'm not ready. I don't think it's time. Yeah, I need to find the right church, the right people, whatever. Well, that day we went to church and it was Baptist Day and I wasn't really planning on it. And after there was already a row of people that were already dressed and ready to get baptized, last minute, the priest calls out, the pastor, I don't know if they're the same thing, I'm still learning. But he calls out, is there anybody else that would like to get baptized? It's not too late. We can do this all day. And I immediately raised my hand. I get up, I walk to the stage, I'm already sobbing. I don't know what came over me. I felt like I could just feel the Holy Spirit. I could just hear God just whispering in my ear like, it's time. It is time. Give me you. Give your all to me. So I got my butt up. I got clothes. I got dressed and I walked on that stage. I got in that tub and I got baptized. And it was the most wholesome and beautiful experience that I've ever felt in my life. That to me was my official way of saying, Lord, I give you my all. I surrender to you. You are in charge here. All of my sins washed clear. I am new to you. Then, and yes, we're not done. Keep fast forwarding a little bit more. Remember when I said that I had always dreamed of running my own fashion line? What do you think I did? With God's help, and yes, the same thing with my course, God and I created Beta Lee and Couture, which is a fashion line for women, which is, I don't want to say loungewear, but it's like nighty wear. December 5th, 2025, it is 10 to 20% off for first-time buyers, and it's only open for the first 48 hours. It's literally just robes, nightgowns, PJ sets, all types of girly and cute, sexy, flirty, or modest nighttime wear. And let's fast forward a little bit more. I got myself a promise ring. This is my promise ring, or my purity ring, should I say. This is my purity ring. I know it should be on my ring finger technically, but I accidentally got the wrong size, so it's just gonna have to do for now. I'll find a way to get it on this finger, trust, but it's gonna have to do for now. And I already did decide this about a year ago now, maybe a little bit less, but I did already decide that I was gonna start waiting for marriage, and I did, yes. Me and my partner, we were going to have to start over. But he supports my decision 100%. And it wasn't the easiest thing. Temptation's probably the most tricker kind of spirits out there. And it's awful. He is awful. But I gave my body to God and I decided that I was going to start waiting for marriage again. Me and my partner, we are very clear on the fact that we're not going to get married just for that fact. It would be a factor, but it's not going to be the main purpose whatsoever. I would not agree to that. So I got my purity ring in representation of that. And I've started a new, healthy, amazing life here across country from everything that I've ever known. And I'm here to tell you today, throughout this whole video, you've heard my story. I don't care how different your story is compared to mine. I bet you lived a hard life when you were little or presently. The fact that I got out of it and helped me through it, that is proof that you can too. It's proof that you can as well. Do not give up. Do not stop. Keep going. Because I am proof. My testimony is proof. So that is it for today. God bless you all in Jesus' mighty name. I love you all. Bye.